It's actually pretty easy to text girls. If you search how to text girls, you'll find tips like ask her an intriguing question, give her a compliment, send her a good morning and good night texts. But if you'd grab the phone of any guy who has girls lining up for him, you'll discover that these guys very rarely do these things. In fact, in this short video, you will see why doing the opposite of these things is infinitely more attractive. I'm going to make a bold statement here, but I think that if you let go of your assumptions, you open your mind, and you listen to the 3 tips that I have for you in this video, I can change some things that you thought about attraction or texting that you just took as objective truth, as facts. I think I can change those, flip them around, and as a result, your texting will be way better forever. And for the first tip, we have to, for just a quick second, go back to one of the fundamentals. Tip number 1, do not give compliments. Do this instead. Many guys instantly fumble the interaction as soon as they are confronted with a really hot woman. One of the things I've heard most as a dating coach is something along the lines of, hey Louis, I actually do pretty well with girls, especially just like regular girls, but as soon as I'm really attracted to her, if she's like a 9 or a 10, then I don't know what to do anymore. And honestly, this is quite a complex thing that I just gave like a 30-minute rant about in one of the TextGod mentoring program coaching calls. But one of the biggest reasons why this happens is the very obvious reason that men value looks so much. And so as soon as a girl is really your type, it doesn't even matter that I find her ugly or your best friend finds her ugly. If you think for you she's a 9 or a 10, you're gonna put her on a pedestal. Combined with the fact that you have very little experience with girls that are a 9 or a 10 for you, so she's up on a pedestal. And what happens when she's up on a pedestal? Well, you default to a very risk-free strategy, very safe play. Your inner nice guy comes out. It's gonna be boring, predictable, bland, ruined, fumbled. Let's clarify this with an example. You see a beautiful, young, nice, curvy woman making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mirror selfies. And yes, a lot of men will think she's really hot, but it's one of these typical profiles, very bland, just her being hot in front of the mirror. That's it. Still, most men here will just give her some lame ass compliment, which puts you in a giant box of guys sending her lame ass compliments straight from the start. She didn't even have to have a 1 ounce of personality. It's just her in front of the mirror and the guys are like, you're so beautiful. Oh. The main problem with being in that box of complimenting nice guys is that you didn't stand out in any way and you didn't stimulate any emotions. If you can do that, if you can stimulate emotions straight from the get-go, you're automatically, instantly top 5% of guys. Well, how do you do that? Let's look at how one of my coaches opened this girl. He said, permission to roast you? Permission granted. Your profile looks like it's made of the photos you took to sell your outfits on Facebook Marketplace. Crying emoji, crying emoji. Does it really? Question mark, question mark. Definitely not selling my clothes. Lamau. Just outfits I wore when I went out. Obviously made more of an impact here. Then the guy goes, now you have permission to roast me. She goes, your pictures kind of look like you never grew out of your college boy phase. Conversation successfully started. Guys, compliments are fine from time to time, but in 90% of cases, a tease is what your conversation needs, not another compliment. Tip number 2, don't ask questions. You can do better. This concept seems so obvious, but I can see by all the guys joining my mentoring program, apparently is not obvious. Cool guys don't try to be cool, much like attractive guys don't try to be attractive. And this is also why 99% of dating profiles are so shit. You're all trying way too hard. In conversations with women, whether it's over text or in real life, you'll do this by overthinking what the best question is to ask her. And by overthinking the best question to ask her, you are actively trying to impress her. And by trying so hard to impress her, you subcommunicate that you have shortcomings. And now you're trying to hide these shortcomings, you're trying to hide this feeling of inadequacy by pulling out your best tricks, your best question, all your best dating tricks. But The best way to impress her is by not trying to impress her at all. Let's quickly look at 2 screenshots. Number 1 here on your screen. The guy goes, "What makes you excited about life?" And the girl's like, "I don't know." Screenshot number 2, the guy goes, "You give me, I can down a bottle of vodka, but equally, we can feed the duckies vibes." And she goes, "Wait, I love this." Some massive differences between those 2 conversations is that in the first one, the first guy really, he's trying to impress her. He's like, if I ask this question, then likely she'll give me a long ass response, which causes her to invest more, and then he doesn't really care about the answer. The second guy, he risks losing her. He's just sharing what's on his mind. He's not even asking a question. And tip number 3, stop sending good morning texts. Have some goddamn self-respect. Good morning text is actually a massive keyword. It's something that guys look for on Google a lot. And let me be straight with you, I have nothing against the occasional good morning text within a relationship if that text also packs a lot of personality. It's actually super simple. Whether a good morning or a good night text is good or super lame depends on just one thing. Why are you sending it? Because most men don't actually wish the girl a good morning or a good night. What they wish is for the girl to give him validation. They want that little hit of attention, that sweet, sweet attention from this beautiful girl. And so what do? They craft an overly nice good morning or good night text. Or some guys are just so bad at texting that they're just like, good morning, beautiful. Just so that they get that response back. Oh yes, she still wants to text me. Oh, I feel so good. Just a little bit more validation. Be honest with yourself. If you send these type of texts, or you do send compliments in general quite often, is the underlying reason maybe that you're hoping to get a nice text back and that makes you feel good that she still wants to text you? Is that really it? Be honest. So bottom line, most guys surrender their own power just to get approval for her, to get confirmed that things are still good between the 2 of you. And obviously what this does, sometimes sooner, sometimes later, the girl will realize that you are only saying these things to get validation. And that is the moment that she starts losing attraction. So I was explaining this concept the other day to a guy in the TextGod mentoring program, and he wanted to know if I had an example. I opened my phone, went into the chat with my girlfriend, and looked at the last time I sent her a good morning text. And I was pleased to find that my own texts are in line not only with tip number 1 from this video, but also with this 3rd tip. And as you'll see in the screenshot of the text that I sent to my girlfriend, you'll see one of my favorite techniques is quite literally the opposite of trying to show how cool you are. I self-deprecate. I mock myself rather than sell myself, which honestly is the best way to sell yourself. So a little bit of context. I very rarely would send a good morning text. This is one of the very few cases. And why did I do it here? Because the night before my girlfriend went to bed feeling quite feverish, so I wanted to follow up with her. That being said, I noticed that the texts were not arriving until somewhere at lunch, so I was also worried that she might be feeling like complete shit since she slept until noon, whereas usually she would wake up and be productive quite early in the morning. Good morning! How you feeling? More feverish or more betterish? And then a photo of my red sweaty face after a boxing practice. I was gonna make a joke that if you didn't wake up looking like this, you don't have a fever. But you're sleeping so long, you got me a little worried. Rather than just sending a good morning text to get validation or attention, I'm making it a tease, right? It spikes her emotions, makes her laugh, and then I self-deprecate by sending not the best photo in the world of me, rather one where I felt a little bit vulnerable. Which is fine in a relationship, and even sometimes in not a relationship. Anyway, I hope these 3 texts have changed your perspective on texting a little bit, or dating in general. Drop a like and subscribe, help me become a trillionaire. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, I love you so much.